Hi everyone, Nevada Nail Person. So today I'm going to be filming a special little video, a collaboration. Um, the person who started this collab is Clare Gray on YouTube, and she's known as Nail Swatch Tower UK on Instagram. And basically it's going to be a nail polish first. So a group of, I think it's 20 at this point. I will leave the YouTube channels below and also provide a Google Doc link if that's easier for you, just so you can just click and subscribe, which you probably should if you're in the nail polish community and you like nail polish and you want to follow us, then definitely subscribe to all these wonderful women. I've collaborated with some of them before and they're just great. I love the nail polish community. So I digress a little. So let's get back into it. So it's nail polish first. So Claire did provide a list of what we should discuss in the video, but I thought I would just give just a teensy bit of background on my nail polish journey. My parents were very liberal in me wearing nail polish and makeup from a very early age. The only thing, strangely enough, as a side note, I couldn't get my ears pierced. But then I kept bothering my mom, and she said, "You want the pierce? Come here." And she pierced my ears at about 12 or 13. But for nail polish, I specifically remember going to, and this is related to my first bottle of nail polish, which isn't exactly on the list, but back east, I hail from New Jersey. There used to be a discounted department store called Two Guys, and they would have this makeup rack. I think it was 2 for $1 or 3 for $1, something very cheap back in the 70s. And I would just sit there and look at all the colors and look at everything and be like, "Can I have this? Can I have that?" My mom was no, no, no. And I was probably between like 7 to 9 and around that age. So I remember seeing a nail polish, and I remember it had a yellow top, and it was like a pinky, wasn't a hot Barbie pink. It was relatively mild. And I said, "Can I have this?" And she said, "No, you bite your nails," which I did. So she goes, "No." And she said, "You bite your nails." And I said, "But I won't. If I get this, I won't bite my nails anymore." And sure enough, she bought it for me. And from that point on, 7, 8, 9, I've been doing my nails. So of course, as a 7 or 8 year old, you just kind of just take that bottle and slap it on. So that was my first experience with nail polish. So stopped biting my nails around that time and good to go. And as far as makeup goes, referring back to them being pretty liberal, I was wearing eyeliner, shadow, blush, whatnot. I'd say we were in middle school, 7th, 8th grade, and because my middle school was condensed with the high school, so I looked older at 12 or 13 anyway, and that only added to it. So anyway, let's get back to the first. So I told you about my first experience with nail polish, and that will spin into another one of the 10 items on the list. So the first item that she posted we should discuss is our first OPI. Now I remember that distinctly. It is OPI Red, and there's the bottle, and here it is on the nail swatch. And I remember this because when I was attending manicuring school, OPI and Essie were both brands that you only got through a salon, and it wasn't readily available. You had to have a license to purchase this. So I was super happy to finally have my first OPI. It came in a kit. When you attend nail school, they give you a kit of acrylics and all the chemicals and products you'd need. And this baby was included with that kit, and I was so happy to finally have an OPI nail polish. So that's how I know this was my first OPI. So it's OPI Red. Now, the next question was your first Essie. Now, Essie was in the same platform as OPI. You could only purchase it through a store where you had a license, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't like now where you could just walk into CVS and purchase it. So it was quite coveted. So back in the mid-90s, before the pink and white acrylic started really showing up, everybody was doing French manicures with ballet slippers. So this is really probably one of my first Essies. So this is ballet slippers. You could barely see it. It's just a hint of color. It's not very opaque. It's a sheer. And then you would combine Marshmallow or white. What is Essie's white? I forget the name offhand. But basically these were my two first true Essies. Ballet slippers, Marshmallow, and the white. It's not Alpine because that's OPI. I don't remember the white shade. But again, these were my first OPI Essies, and these are not the original bottles by all means, the OPI or Essie. I actually purchased these. Why not? I mean, it was quite a trip down memory lane, and I remember having fond memories, so I wouldn't mind having these back in my collection again. Unfortunately, these kind of lighter polishes tend to go yellow after a while, so you have to turn them around quite quickly or dispose of them. So that's my Essies. Let's see, the next one is a China Glaze. Now, China Glaze was fairly new to me in that I don't remember going to Sally's in New Jersey. But anyway, I think I was introduced to China Glaze more through YouTube. So one of the shades that I kept hearing about was this Flip Flop Fantasy, and I just love this neon, and I love neon nails. So I am pretty sure that Flip Flop Fantasy was one of the first bottles of China Glaze that I picked up, and you can see why. It's absolutely gorgeous. That peachy neon shade, gorgeous. Now the next brand, and I'll spin into two things with this. On the list, she mentioned your first brand. UK, she listed Barry M, or for US, Sinful Colors. Now, Sinful Colors was pretty readily available in like Walgreens. We didn't have as many Walgreens as we do now, so I didn't have quite the same access as I did a few years ago. So one color, and it was between one of these two. I know it was either the blue one or this one, but I like this one. This is Unicorn from Sinful Colors, and I just like that it's a pale yellow. So it gives you that clean manicure look. And or it could have been the blue. Is there an al fresco in blue? One of these two, because like I said, I didn't have too many because they were just coming, rolling more Walgreens into my area recently, and CVS didn't carry this. So I believe my first Sinful Colors was Unicorn, or possibly that blue. I think it's al fresco. So I just found Unicorn. Another thing I'd like to mention, your first brand, and actually it's what I grew up with. Back in the day when you're in high school, you don't have a lot of money for nail polish, and I was a nail polish freak back then. I had what was considered a lot, but nowhere near what I have now. But one of the brands, and I hunted this down, and I don't think they make them anymore. It's this brand called Brucci. And this is what we rocked in the 80s. This shade is called Redwood, and this one is called Black+Blue. And I did find these on eBay, and originally I ordered from one person. I guess they sold out, and I don't think they're making them anymore. They do come from, I want to say they're made in New Jersey, Yonkers, New York, so it's close to New Jersey. But these were the shades I wore back in the day, and this was my really first true nail polish as an adult when I was rotating and doing my nails weekly. So probably around the 14, 15 stage, and I think when I was using them, they were probably around, you could get them 2 for $1, maybe 89 cents was the average price. So this shade is Redwood. So I was wearing dark colors back then. It's beautiful wine, brown, deep shade, and this is Black+Blue. So rocking the blue shades even back then when I was 15. So really super excited and nostalgic to find these Brucci nail polishes once again. So happy to find them. So so that covers first brands. Now, first indie. And that is super easy because it's still my fave. It's hard to see on the bottle, but it's from Girly Bits, and it's called Gravedigger. And it is this beautiful shade that I guess I received around Halloween, so I always assumed it was a fall type shade. So I have it on the nail ring. I didn't want to swatch it again because I don't think they make it anymore. So it's this black, I want to say jelly, but it's a pretty opaque jelly, and it has orange, pink, silver, purple, looks like little square glitters and little micro glitters of the same color. But it's just this awesome super nail polish. What I do now if I want to wear it is I just put on a base of black and then put this over as a topper so I get the effect. But this was my first indie, and I absolutely love it. And I think I found a dupe for it, so I'm kind of excited. It's from Different Dimensions. It's called Once Upon a Midnight Dreary. So I want to say that they kind of look the same. Same idea. So this is my first, and I wanted to have a dupe of it. So there you go. Closest I could find. So the next one is your first hollow. And I believe this to be my first hollow. As I started on my internet trails and finding out there's people out there interested in the same thing I am. Wow. I found a couple of companies, and hollow was, I guess, kind of new. And I don't remember what website I bought this from, but it's from the brand Nfu-Oh. And I bought the entire set, and it was rather expensive, but I thought these bottles were so unique with the corset top. So I did purchase the full set. So these were my first hollow, and I just swatched one of them, and boy, is it a stunner. When I was swatching it, I'm going, why don't I? Because I have so many polishes, but this is so beautiful. So I highly recommend if you can get your hands on this. It's such a great formula. And actually they sold a special base coat, which basically I think is like Orly's Ridge Filler. It must be a dupe for that smooths out your nail for an even application. But this is 2 coats on its own, and it's really nice. Now, number 7, glitter topper. In the last few years, I bought glitter toppers. I'm not the biggest fan of glitter toppers. There's a few that I've come across that I really like. Off the top of my head from Julep, there's Max, which is a black and white matte glitter of different sizes, circles, and that just looks really stunning on neon polish. But my first glitter topper, I want to say that when my mom realized I was serious about doing my nails, she actually let me pick out the 2 or 3 for $1, whatever the price point was. And I specifically remember a silver glitter in a clear base, really, really chunky silver glitter, that I wore on its own with nothing underneath it. And like a typical 7, 8, 9-year-old, so I had silver glittery nails. So I don't remember the brand, but that's a memory that I have. So that was my first glitter topper. So my first nail art tool, I'm pretty sure it was a striper brush, and this is not the original, but a striper brush just has the long end, just like of a few hairs, and then you could dip it in the paint and then drag it across the nail for a line. So I want to say that this is probably my first nail art tool. I think we were starting to dabble in nail tape to get the same effect, so it's a little bit straighter with that and was metallic. But I want to say this would qualify as my first nail art tool. Now my first base, and I again got nostalgic, went on the internet and found something. This is what we wore in the 80s. This is Formula 10, and it says creates long, strong, beautiful nails. And I believe this was manufactured in New Jersey as well. Belmar, New Jersey, yep. And this is what we wore, and I had long nails. I wasn't wrapping my nails yet or using acrylic. I was using this Formula 10. And gosh knows, it doesn't mention like all those bad things, so I'm sure it has all those bad things in it, but it worked for my nails. So I actually went and found it on the internet, and this is probably what I use for a base coat and a top coat, because it does list on the back to use it as a base and a top coat. So I was super excited to find this on the internet. This is something I actually used 30 years ago, and they still make it. And maybe they're not as popular, and I think if this were a 30-year-old bottle, it would be kind of yellowy by now, but it's pretty good. So apparently they're still making it. They're just not as popular anymore, but I would recommend trying it. I had good luck when it had all the bad stuff in it and never did anything to my nails. So, yep, this was a great product. Very happy. So again, probably used it as a base coat and a topper. But as time went on, this was prior. Now I'm on the last item, the top coat. We didn't have the quick dry yet. Quick dry type of top coats. In the 80s, we had more things that made it dry, like a spray can, which didn't really work at all. And then I think they were starting to introduce the drops and this buff off product. It made like an opaque matte look, and then you would buff it off and it would help dry your nails. But then I remember seeing things in the store like Northern Lights, or who makes this? Out the Door. Out the Door is the original one where I started to get my hands on quick dry nail polish products. So Out the Door. This one happens to be Northern Lights, which has the holographic fine glitter in it, which is very hard to mix up. But Out the Door was probably my base top coat for a while after finding out that this takes too long to dry. So I think that's everything in my first. Let me know, did anybody else use these products? Do you remember Brucci or Formula 10? I mean, I was so happy to find those products. I can't tell you. Talk about feeling nostalgic. So that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you to all the participants on this first collabs. Thank you to Claire for coordinating this. And that's it. I will see you soon. Bye.